Hi Pisces. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Pisces. Happy birthday to you. I'm going to start with a big thank you, Pisces. You know, your energy's made a huge difference in my life. Just Pisces in general, Jupiter. I realized Zumi was a gift from Jupiter. Probably a gift from you. Even Sag. Really is a blessing. And all of your love and support. And Shirley, I feel like you knew. So smart. Anyway, I printed off her map, and this I've been writing a lot as I'm going through a lot of stuff. It helps me sometimes, like, even though I guess I talk a lot these days, writing gives a different expression, you know, and you know, because you can just scribble it out and then write something different. But anyway, I was looking at a map that Zumi gave me, and had me write a story. So I have a story for your birthday. You ready? Don't judge my story. This is the first draft. I don't even know if I'll ever do a second draft, but this is what came. Once upon a time, a child was born. But wondered why it felt half empty. Where was everyone else? One day, as they went along, they found a strange and gentle creature in the most unusual way. And although they couldn't stay, they pointed the way. The child went along and saw a sign, but this was a crossroads, heart or mind. The child was asked. They did not know the answer, and so they wanted to go back. But lo and behold, the path before had grown over with thickets and brush. I guess now I'm going to have to trust. Along they went, as they had to choose. But then a two-headed fright arrived. Oh, I messed that sentence up. Hold on. So they did, and along they went. But then all of a sudden there was a fright. A very big-toothed, two-headed creature was in their sight. And the strength felt within before soon became meek. The voices spoke, made the child question the path, words like birds that stick and last. However cruel, those words were right. If one wanted to move forward, they had to be honest that sometimes life is indeed a fight. So fight they did, although not their nature, and they defeated that two-headed monster and did not falter, after which they found great comfort in the courage they had found. For all must get scrapes and tears, and sometimes we must fall down. This is the game of life. And so the child continued on its way. But now looking around, they could see that they had come a very long way. Then night came and the cold set in, the loneliness, the solitude. Did I take the right path? The child thought aloud with tears in her eyes. I guess I'll rest a while, the child did surmise. When morning came, it was hard to tell. Am I in heaven or is this hell? So they waited just a little bit longer until they could see. This was no easy task because the light needed was within thee. There was a bridge amid the mist, and so they walked with timid steps. Oh, and after which a storm rushed in from the west, you know the kind, life's beautiful tests. Hold steady, brace yourself. You've gone so far, no need to give up. On the other side of the bridge was a troll, so wretched and cruel. With green and yellow drool, the troll spoke these very words, blocking the way through. Here you shall not pass without giving me a piece of you. You decide, or I will choose. The child thought, I have nothing to give. I'm all alone. My life's a sieve. And so the child walked softly towards the beast, finally reaching to his bare feet. She climbed the giant till she reached his heart and hugged him sweetly, and then she did depart. The troll asked, what are you giving me? Love and acceptance for all eternity. The troll, taken aback, knew he must step aside, for love is priceless, and allowed her to go by. Long journeys, faraway lands, new sights and smells, people too. The child grew to an adult and grew and grew. So many new experiences, and even learning too. Her faith even had become quite true. Then a mountain came into sight, the cold winds blowing on a dark winter's night. Oh, she pondered, should I, could I, turn back to whence I came? But she knew there was no other way. This is where fear lived. Fear and faith were the mountain's names. Oh no, there was no way to go back to where she began. The loneliness and solitude crept back, but this time she almost forgot how far she had come, for these mountains in winter were certainly no fun. There were ravines so deep and wide, with no way around. The puzzle was complicated, the dulling dark sounds. So she cried and cried, and cried some more, so much so that the skies opened up with her and the heavens poured. All this water she thought she might drown, but by her surprise it started to fill the holes in the ground. She thought of that bridge way back when. Maybe love can save me again. She knew she could not cut things down to help her across, but remembered to stay put when she is lost. And so she in the heavens cried all night, till sleep and dream time came, and when she woke, there was no rain. The ravines were full, and she opened her eyes, and a person stood in front of her, looking down, oh so wise. Why, my dear, are you on the ground? She told her story clear and true, spoke of love and all her blues. How she was just trying to find her way. The man moved slow and steady, for the mountains were his, and he knew their ways. If you follow this river until the sun comes between the two peaks, you will find, my dear, what it is you seek. The woman thanked the wise man, bowing softly as she began, following the river as he said. And as she looked back, he was no longer there. Where, oh where, she longed and pondered and stared. So she kept on, and finally, after what seemed like a very long time, what the wise man had said had come true. Between fear and faith, the sun did shine, for the bridge of light is within you. I love you, Pisces. So you have an ending and a beginning card right in a line. One end all the way to the other. Remember, your yearly reading spoke of faraway sounds, right? Which spoke of intuition. And that's exactly what the sleeper card represents, is an awareness there. So wherever you are in the journey, there's something new that's coming through this space, okay? Although it may be one of those things where like something is asleep and then something is awake. And actually, whatever this newness is comes with some really beautiful... You have this... Aries had this card also, the card of fulfillment, which shows the full moon. So, and there's water and fire here. So again, this is like Jupiter energy to me. It's blessed energy. Right? April showers bring May flowers, but... So I guess, you know, shedding creates growth, right? Some of you could also be thinking along the lines, your dream time could be really strong right now. You know how the Indian women paint their fingers like red on the ends? I think that's for weddings. There's something about that. You like dunk just these two phalanges on the top. Just a second. So those who have been being patient, although I'm sure it was a little bit challenging, there's something that's coming to fruition, which then is going to give this opening, which creates some sort of great fulfillment. It's like a flowing of water, right? It's almost like that story, like you have to cry or release something, right? That completion energy to fill the space. So it can lead the way. Just a minute. So there's something here where you're allowed to relax, right? You're allowed to relax into who it is that you are now. I'm assuming as this, especially for those of you that are, this is your solar time, this is a whole new cycle for you. And if you're watching this for another part of your chart, this is where the sun is shining. There's beautiful light and positivity and growth in that house, okay? But I suppose we need the water too to have the seed grow, right? And a lot of times when we plant seeds, sometimes it seems like it's sleeping and we don't really know all it is that's happening under the surface. So one has to trust, again, in, well, if it grows, it grows. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I see that this isn't arid. You know, there's no need for fear of abandonment. There could be a little bit of a need of compromise in relation to not compromising your morals. Well, it's interesting. Calm, like communicate. I don't know what calm, well, co means together, right? But compromise is is co, which is with promise. Compromise. So, and usually with a compromise, it's like you get a part of what you want and other people get a part of what they want and it works together, right? But you have to speak what it is that you, or know at least what it is that you hold of your own, so you can nurture that also and let others know what's important to you, okay? And actually see when springtime comes around for you, when Aries season, once we move through Pisces time, there really is something that opens up. So make sure you rest in this time, okay? I see rest your mind, especially if you have any worries about, you know, and remember, in your time, if there's anything underneath, it may bubble up. Better to do it now, let it come up, and then sink back down into where it is. Oh, do you remember our reading where we talked about the buoy? And you were cutting the little strings to those heavy old anchors, and then you put the buoy so that you can help yourself so that you don't run into that again, or you at least can avoid it because you're like, okay, I've already dealt with that. There's a buoy there, you know, and it also helps other people. Froggy. So be aware of that. Foggy. Aries talked about this too, but like, what makes you do little voice? You know, and if you're a man, I guess it would be like your giggle, you know, like, I feel like little voice is a little bit more for girls, but for women, but the female. But you know, where your silly giggle comes out. Who do you get silly? What makes you feel silly? Or not so serious? Maybe some of you could meet a new person. Also new people. You may even dream or like have visions about, you're like, okay, there's something like, I'm gonna run into like this kind of person, but it's not, I don't know if it would be exact, like you'd see all the information. Again, far away sounds, but it may be something where you're like, dude, I've been thinking about that a lot, or I've been thinking about this a lot, and then maybe you see the person wearing that, or they look like, they seem there's something familiar about it, and I feel like the pieces are going to come together closer and closer. So I suppose, even though this is a time of rest, to an extent, don't isolate exactly during this time, because it's also a time of balance too, right? Like working out, again, what you believe about your relationships, or what kind of ideas or feelings you have around your relationships, the one to yourself, the one to other people. Also feel like someone's hair is getting really, really long, or maybe someone will dye their hair a different color. Or see, don't be afraid to be yourself. Just be who you are. And I suppose a good night's sleep does help a lot too, because, first impressions do make a big difference, right? Although, sometimes we're just raw. Like I gave this example with Capricorn. Capricorn and Aries are all on the same day, but, I ended up going to this place that I'd never gone before. I'd seen it before, and I wanted to go there, but I guess I just never had the time, or I just didn't make the time. And today I had the time, and even though I had been crying earlier in the car, and I had a hard experience, like I think I cried in public like 3 times today. Going through it and not ashamed, but I was just me, and because of that, it gave a new opportunity to, I guess, practice who it is that I am now in the world, And I know you probably feel like a dichotomy all the time, right? You're so gentle and sweet and sensitive, but you're also incredibly powerful and passionate, and it's like even brash at times, like it's, you hear Foggy, right? Crying, laughing, whatever it is. It's okay to be all that you are. That's the point. Let's close this out with a song. What's your song? Let's see. Hold on. Music's been really strong. Pisces. Oh, interesting. Oh, nope. Oh, there we go. Okay, this is called The Way Home by Rich Robinson. It says, "That's all right. Since my soul's got a seat up in the kingdom, that's all right. My mother, how you walk along." Oh, it just switched to Elvis. It says, "Living below in this old sinful world, hardly a comfort I can afford, striving alone to face temptation's call. Life here is grand with friends I love so well." Okay, now it's the phone's tweaking, and it did Moses Odetta. Moses Odetta. Weird. So maybe it would be cool if you do maybe you do shuffle. Like shuffle music. Maybe it'll give you like a story to figure something out, or to help you to understand what you're working through, or how to relate or learn a lesson, right? To me, Jupiter is music. Neptune to me is actually musical, very creative. And actually Jupiter and Venus, they've been together, and Neptune's there too, so there's just a lot of love going around, and a lot of heart opening spaces. And you know, it's sometimes, I guess it's hard. How do we walk the path of love if life is love? I know this world's trippy, but I feel like you're becoming more comfortable in your own body about that, and maybe where you've been. And it's okay right now to not know where we're going, right? In mutable time, we don't make huge decisions. So you'll be okay. Okay? I love you so much. Happy birthday. Thank you again for your love. For Azumi. And, you know, it was weird. I was like, I realized I had never read, I never really read cards without Azumi, especially in this space, in this field. So I really didn't know how it was going to go, and I was really nervous because I didn't want to do wrong, you know, and I didn't want to be a fool. And so I just kind of took my time until it felt like it was right, and I hope this was helpful. And thank you again for your love, wherever and however you love in this life. And forgive. I'll talk to you next time.